What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Full Court Talk, episode 57. We're getting up there. But what's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
What's good, man? Good
Man,
to see y'all as always.
Yeah,
yep. Trying to stay cool, bro.
Oh,
it is
telling me,
hot as
bro.
hell.
Yeah.
Hot, man.
Even 90 feels like it's killing me already.
It's us too, because we can't leave our windows open because of the air quality.
Yep.
Yeah, luckily, like in SAC, it's not that bad. For a couple
Yo,
days, it was bad, but like right now, it's not that bad. But it's still
okay.
like 100 plus every day. So,
At least
Man,
we don't
sorry,
have
bro.
yeah.
that. God bless. We're gonna bust up.
Yeah, it's not fun. But we have a ton to get to.
Yep.
So it came out that the Warriors are keeping Jonathan Kuminga and James Wiseman untouchable for the foreseeable future. We'll talk about that. And is that a good idea? And then we'll get into the Lakers and the Nets going on this arms race for the oldest players. I mean, good players, but the oldest players in the league. So we'll get to that. And the last one, will Monta Ellis, Isaiah Thomas, or Lance Stephenson be signed? We had heard that they have been worked out by the Dallas Mavericks. I think Monte was also worked out by the Houston Rockets. So could they make it back into the NBA? We'll talk about that. But what do you guys think about the Warriors coming out and saying that Jonathan Kuminga and James Wiseman are essentially untouchable?
I think. Well, I hate to bring another player up, but I think it all pans out to what Clay is going to be like when he comes back. I think if Clay can have the season that KD did, even though his injuries were far more devastating than KD's, if he has a season that KD has and bounces back, then I think that those guys should just completely be untouchable. They're going to be part of the future. They can win right now, right? But unfortunately, like in the worst case, that Clay is a shell of his old self. I think they might have to backtrack on what they said and actually try to shop those guys just because they owe it to Steph to try to win right now, in my opinion. And you need to take full advantage of Steph's years as a superstar player in the league because we all know Steph is a top five, if not top three player in the league, right? Like you can argue that. And if you want to compete and not waste, his his reality of aging, then you're gonna have to make some moves. But if Clay can come back and can contribute and help in bigger ways compared to others, then those guys don't get shopped. But if he can't, then I think the Warriors try to do something, trying to make a splash. Hopefully not Ben Simmons, but I mean, you don't know. But yeah, overall, I think it all comes down to how Clay is because you want to play for the now, and I understand you might want to be, storing and want to be secure for the future.
I hate to beat this drum again because I've been beating it ever since that last John Morant floater. But I think they should still make some kind of move. I guess it's kind of encouraging that Wiggins isn't untouchable, so you can still do something there. Um, but yeah, like CJ said, it depends on how Clay comes back. Obviously, Steph is 33 right now. Draymond isn't getting any younger. um, I just felt like you got to maximize their window right now. Whenever people ask me about the Westbrook trade, which we'll get into later, um, I say, you know what? I can't be mad at it because at least they're trying to do something. They're not just sitting and standing pat. Um, and again, like I'm not saying that Kuminga and Wiseman won't be good down the line, but we're talking about winning this year or the next 2 years. And then I was actually looking at a couple names. I wanted to look at Myles Turner because I know that was rumored. I mean, he only makes 17.5 million. So that's not bad. This one might be kind of a reach. Jeremy Grant would be cool. Obviously, I don't know if again these other teams will even agree to any of these trades. but I mean, just like to shoot their shot. Siakam was also rumored, makes 30 plus million. And then one name I don't think I ever saw mentioned, but I think is kind of reasonable is Brandon Ingram, because we know how the Pelicans are right now. They're still trying to figure out the best dynamic between he and Zion. It's a pretty crowded front court there. And yeah, like Ingram, I feel like Ingram would fit great as their 4, put Draymond at the 5. You can kind of get away with that, except against like the Nuggets or Lakers. But yeah, again, let's just hope for your sake, Spencer, that this pans out. Because I really don't understand it.
Yeah, and I think the tough thing is like after watching Kuminga, like I'm all in on him. He gives us something that we never really had: a bouncy 3 who can play the 4, who's going to give effort on defense. And I just like his energy. I think he brings a lot of energy on both ends, and I think he seems like a good kid. He's come from honestly nothing and to where like he's gone through his journey. I think that's like amazing. So it's a good story, along with it shows that he's going to work his ass off to get where he needs to be. So I like that. I understand why they want to keep him untouchable. James Wiseman is tough. James Wiseman is a big, and I said this even before the Warriors drafted him. I wasn't sold on him. I don't like the idea of drafting bigs. I don't like the idea of paying bigs because essentially he's very athletic and he's got a little bit of a shot, but past that he's not that good on defense, and I just don't know if he's not gonna pan out at the moment. You know, we need someone that's going to protect the paint right now and rebound. He's not a rebounder, and I think in the long run he's going to be good, but right now, short term, a bargain bin center is just a better fit. But they really like Wiseman. They really want to see what he can do this season next to Steph, Clay, and Dre. So we'll see. But like Myles said, I'm in for trading for a star. I like the idea of capitalizing on the success of Steph, Clay, and Dre. They've given so much to us as fans and the organization. They deserve another run at the championship. I don't know if the rookies are enough to propel us. I love the idea of keeping Moody. Moody seems like a NBA-ready player who can honestly affect the game at all on both ends. He's a great shooter. He looks like he can just hit the open shot. That's all you need next to Steph and Clay. So I would much rather have Moody be untouchable than the other two. That might be an unpopular opinion, but I think he's going to be a better fit down the line. But I don't know what I'm thinking, but I've somehow convinced myself that Ben Simmons is the key to everything, because he's really good on defense, and the idea of a fast break between Steph, Clay, and Ben just seems amazing. And with how bad the trade market is for Ben Simmons, it really seems like we could get him for a flip of Andrew Wiggins for Ben. And I'm okay with that. If that's how it is, I'm cool with it. Give a couple, like maybe give a future first, protect it. I'm cool with it. But what they want, from rumor to wanting Steph, no one's gonna entertain that. But if it is for Wiggins, unfortunately for Wiggins, I'm cool with it. Ben Simmons is a good fit on the defensive end, and I think offensively he'd grow into it at least. I just want to give the Warriors and the core 3 a chance to put their foot forward and put the ring in the hat for contending. But we'll see. It seems like Ben Simmons is very content on sitting out, so I'm interested to see what happens with him. But I'll let you guys go first. So the Lakers, how do you guys feel after this offseason between who was the better team after, well, I guess of today, the Nets or the Lakers?
As I kind of mentioned in the last topic, I love that the Lakers are just shooting their shots on guys. Melo brought Dwight back, brought Rondo back. I'm very excited for Nunn and Monk.
And Basemore.
Yeah, but it's funny because there's this podcast called Laker Film Room Podcast, and then it's like Mike Trudell, who's their sideline reporter, and then this other guy who works for the Lakers. They're pretty high on him. They're saying like, oh, he could possibly start. Obviously, they have a bunch of wings who vary in how well they shoot, how well they play defense. So he's in that mix for sure. But us personally, we all don't like him.
Who? No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks. Yeah, and again with Russ, like I love him as a person, I love him as a player. I just don't think it fits the best.
Agreed.
I still want to hold out judgment and see it for a couple games first. Maybe I'll give it like 10 to 20 games and then we can revisit. So in terms of who had the better offseason, I'll give it to the Lakers, but I still think the Nets are better overall because their pieces actually fit. They re-signed Blake Griffin. Thank goodness Aldridge is okay, and he signed again. They got Paul Millsap, and then they got Patty Mills. And the knock on them is their defense, but you have 3 of the 8 best scorers in the league on the same team. Ain't nobody worried about defense. I think they can get away with Nick Claxton at the 5 here and there. Obviously Blake, Millsap maybe a little bit, and also they have last year as experience. They played a couple games in the playoffs together. Harden will be healthy, Kyrie will be healthy, and we've just seen more of them compared to the Lakers. The Lakers is arguably a very big project that could be disastrous, but let's just hope it's not,
No, I'm gonna have to agree with Myles. First things first, I love Russ. Love him as a player, love him as a person as well. But the fit to me, like Myles said, it was just questionable to me. I would have rather had Kyle Lowry, even though back then when Schroeder and THT were on the brink of getting traded for him, like I was not a fan. But I should have been a fan. But in my non-biased opinion, I do think the Lakers had a better offseason. Contrary to popular belief, even though a bunch of the players that the Lakers signed are over 30, they are past their years. I still think the Lakers had a better offseason just because like the Nets have 3 of the best scorers in the game, arguably the best scorer in the game, right? And like Myles said, they're not going to need any defense when they can beat you by 100 if they wanted to, right? But I will say this. I'm not counting on Kyrie to be healthy. I love Kyrie, but he'll have times where either he just disappears or he gets hurt. And I hate to say that. Like I'm counting on KD and Harden to get healthy. And I know that they're going to be primed and ready to go to war when it comes to playoffs. But Kyrie is just somebody I'm not sure about. Like, unfortunately, like I love Kyrie too, but every season, there's a knock to his career, whether it's in the regular season or it's in the playoffs. So with that said, as long as the Lakers stay healthy, I definitely feel like they can match up better. And, the Nets did get some solid pieces as well. Patty Mills, we were in the run for him too. Paul Millsap, Aldridge, thank God that he's able to come back. The Lakers just have a better bench. Because if you look at it like this, like whoever starts for the Nets, let's say that, Aldridge starts, Blake starts, Claxton obviously might start. Who do they have in the bench? I mean, they have Patty Mills, right? And then whoever doesn't start from those bigs, they're there. I don't even know what backup twos they have besides what's his name? Oh, the shooter. Oh man, I'm blanking out right now.
Yeah, Joe Harris.
Joe Harris. Yeah, there you go. Joe Harris. I'm blanking out. Oh my God. Yeah, so Joe Harris. So with that said, the Lakers, we brought back some guys that has won the ship, has the experience. The only thing is, like Myles said, it is a big experiment. Even though a lot of these guys are familiar, some of them have not played with one another, right? So there's only two ways to look at it. It can either go really well if everything works out, or we could get eliminated in the first round, like how it was last season. So I'm counting on the Lakers to have more players primed and ready to go by the end of the season compared to last season where we were literally crawling to the finish line, barely making it past the play-in game, and so the Nets do have experience over us, as Myles pointed out. They do have experience over us, but I'm going to give it to the Lakers just because with signing veterans, and I think they held the record for signing the most people over 30 years old in an offseason, according to ESPN stats and info. I'm giving it to them to be able to adjust quickly and buy into the system compared to the Brooklyn Nets.
I think it's very interesting that I don't think we've seen two teams come back like this. It is very rare that two teams kind of not explode, but they really just went all in, and I respect it. The Lakers went out. Obviously, they got Carmelo, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook. They have so many guys. Oh, and Kent Bazemore. They got so many guys in one offseason. It's insane. The roster turnover for them
DeAndre Jordan
look great. Oh yeah, I forgot about DeAndre Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about DJ, dude.
Me too.
It's crazy on how much they did, and I think it looks good on paper, but until we see how it works, a month or two in, we won't know how they're gonna do. I think they're gonna miss a secondary playmaker. Kendrick Nunn is a good scorer, but he's definitely not a playmaker. And Malik Monk is getting there, but he's also another scorer. But hey, they might not need the secondary playmaker because they have a lot of scores off that bench. They're going to be good. And then talking about the Nets, they were extremely busy as well. Re-signing Blake. Patty Mills was huge. I don't think people really realize how good of a move that was. Kyrie likes to take mental health vacations, and Patty Mills would be a good guy to slot next to James Harden and Kevin Durant. And then on a very positive note, like you guys said, LaMarcus Aldridge is back. He's been cleared, and re-signing him after signing Paul Millsap, that's insane. Obviously, two good scorers for bigs. That's a good 1-2 punch. And then you have the three of the top scorers in the NBA. That's insane. And I think drafting Cam Thomas and getting him around the mid-20s was insane. He was one of the most I think he broke the record for highest points per game in Summer League. I could be wrong, but
I don't know why he dropped that low too.
Yeah. Well, I think because all he can do is score. He'll drop 30, but he'll have 0 point or 0 rebounds, 0 assists, no defensive stats. But that's kind of exactly what the Nets need, They need that bench scorer, and he's perfect. And I think that DeAndre Jordan trade was kind of crazy. DeAndre Jordan and 4 second-round picks. I don't like the idea of giving up second-round picks for what they got, but it's a good trade. Sekou Doumbouya is really good. I think he's a good project player to work off with KD. And your Duke boy, Jahlil Okafor, I think he could be good. I've always been very high on him, even though he never really got to where he should have been. He's a good player. And with a team that needs bigs and needs healthy bodies, Ja could get some look. And I hope he gets some time because he's a good player. But it's crazy the Pistons gave up Doumbouya for a player that they cut and 4 second-round picks. They gave up on him after 2 seasons, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Doumbouya was needed in that trade. You could have done Ja straight up, and it would have been fine, but they went with it.
It's the Pistons.
It's the Pistons.
That's what they do.
I guess so. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give the edge on the better team to the Nets just because of, I think that, like you said, the pieces fit. They had a very smart offseason. They didn't go I'm not going to give the Lakers a knock because they went for names, but that's what they did. At the end of the day, the Lakers went big names, and it worked because a lot of people are very high in the Lakers, as they should be. But the Nets going after pieces that fit and pieces that they needed to fill holes, I think it was a good, great offseason for both teams, but I'm going to give the edge to the Nets. It just, at the end of the day, whoever's healthy is going to win. We don't know. Like, both of these teams are very old. LaMarcus could get hurt again. Hope not. Knock on wood. Paul Millsap is like styrofoam at this point. Russell Westbrook gets hurt a lot. DeAndre Jordan was non-existent on the Nets for a long time now. Pretty much since he got signed there. Get Ken Bazemore, the anti-vaxxer. So go have fun with that. Kendrick Nunn has a lot of issues along with Malik Monk. So there's flaws, but LeBron covers a lot of those flaws. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a great offseason, or it was a great offseason for both, but now it's time to pick it up and try and see who wins.
Really fast too. I wanted to say that it reminds me a lot of that 2012-2013 Lakers team where they gambled on Nash, but like on crack, because both teams are grabbing multiple dudes past their prime who are kind of injury prone at this point. So let's see if either team can make it go right. Again, like I can never knock anyone for going for stuff. Maybe except Dennis Schroeder. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, I just respect it. As you said, Spence, I hope both teams are healthy because this is the finals we all want to see.
I want Warriors Nets, but I'll settle for Lakers Nets.
Okay,
but real quick before we move on, I do want to say that the Lakers look really good. I think it's crazy that we're gonna see that we saw Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn at the age of like 25. They're
super
both
young.
ring chasing for whatever reason. I'm confused on why they're ring chasing. Malik Monk had a very good season, so it's crazy to see him be like, nah, I don't want the money. I'll go ahead and try and get this ring, which I respect. But I wish that he kind of went a different path because I think he could have been a really good piece on the Hornets, or at least maybe even the Knicks would have been a good piece. But he wanted that ring, so I can't knock him for that. We'll see. But on to the last topic. Monta Ellis, Isaiah Thomas, or Lance Stephenson. Could they be signed? And the three guards were worked out by the Dallas Mavericks. Personally, I would love to see Monta on the Warriors. I think that would be so much fun to see. I think it would be crazy to see him back in a Warriors uniform, especially if he was in that Oakland uniform. That'd be so clean. I'd go out and buy one as soon as he signed, not going to lie. But the thing that made him dangerous was his speed and his sneaky athleticism. I think he's like 35, 34. So he doesn't have that anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what he offers other than a mid-range jumper. He was never much of a shooter. He relied on his quickness and his ability to get to the rim and his mid-range. Two things that might not even be there anymore. So we'll see. I hope he gets a chance because it would be so much fun to see Monta back. But realistically, he's probably not going to make any NBA team at the moment. Big three, I think he could do something there, but not the NBA. Isaiah Thomas, we talked about him before. I think he deserves a spot. He's been killing it at every Pro-Am, whatever summer league, he's been killing it. So get that man an NBA roster spot right now. Lance Stephenson, he's the youngest out of the three, and I think he has the least. I would give him the least, the smallest chance to get on the roster because of his attitude. He's a great player. He plays that like Draymond role where he's a pest, he's an asshole. He'll get you what needs to be done, but he'll also embarrass you and your team, not in a good way, but he does things that don't make sense. A play that's been circulating lately, when he blocked the shot, he blocked a fast break dunk, and then he celebrated and he got dunked on. It's things like that is like, yeah, you made a good highlight, but you also put yourself in a Shackton moment. So if he can come with the right mindset, I think he'd be a great addition. At 31, it's pretty surprising that he kind of fell off so hard. After his glory years with Indiana, he signed with the Hornets and really fell off hard. And his last time in the NBA was with the Lakers in 2018, 2019. So it's crazy to see that Lance has kind of fallen off. And I miss the highlights, but I just don't see him coming back anytime soon.
Yeah. Man, born ready. Man, I miss seeing him in the league. Honestly, like I always have every year when the Lakers sign somebody, I always have a player besides from the main guys that I'm just like, man, I really hope we keep this guy. And when the Lakers got Lance Stephenson, he was it for me. Spence, I'm so sorry. Christmas Day, 3 years ago.
God.
You're sorry. He should be sorry. That's when Braun got hurt, man.
I know, right? No, but you know what I mean? Like the air guitar, you know, the antics, like man. And like aside from that, like he's a hooper. Like he might play goofy, especially after Indiana, but he can get buckets and he got moves, bro. Like he has a bat, and his shot isn't that bad either. And so I really do want to see him back in the league. But like you said, Spence, he probably has the least opportunity. I will say this though, IT got the best opportunity.
Yeah.
He's been killing it and he looks healthy. You know, that was the big question mark coming into it. We talked about this already. But I would put Monte before Lance Stephenson, even though Monte is like a little bit older. Just because, like you said, of his attitude, a lot of teams are questioning his maturity, even though he's 31, right? Which is kind of crazy to me. But I will say this though, like you said, it would be cool to see Monte back, you know, with the Warriors. If anything, they could probably do what they did for Matt Barnes, right? Like that wouldn't be bad at all. And it's a gamble, but it can pay off. And at the end of the day, it can even pull in ticket sales. Give him a 10-day. You know how many people are going to watch that game, even if he doesn't get any run? You know? But yeah, so out of those three, it's kind of surprising that the Mavericks were the one that held this private workout, right? And I also want to highlight somebody that wasn't there from these three. Michael Beasley, straight hooper. He should have been there too. He should have been in consideration. And I really don't understand why it doesn't pan out for these types of players because they can get buckets. But at the end of the day, it's about the things that they go through and things that they lack, right? So I guess that's where I understand. But at the end of the day, like IT should be on a roster. Monte should be given a look just for the nostalgia. And if you're absolutely desperate for veteran presence, you get born ready.
Presence.
Yeah, presence, man. But yeah, these three, like it's surprising. And like you said, the Rockets also worked out Monte, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the Rockets are just desperate at this point.
You know what I mean?
They need bodies. But it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad to bring these guys back. I hope they get run. And I hope it's not as sad as it was for the Blazers Summer League with Kenneth Faried and Beasley. Man,
That was embarrassing.
that was embarrassing.
Moody was getting worked.
Yeah. So, yeah, those three, like, it's great to see their names back in the NBA radar.
Yeah.
But I just hope IT deserves to be on a roster.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all on consensus here. I agree with everything. IT needs a roster spot like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not surprised at seeing Lance's name just because, like you said, he's young. But as you guys said, I don't think any team is that desperate enough just because of his antics and his attitude.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a hooper. He's a big body, so he can defend if he wants to. He can even play make a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's kind of like a Nick Young where he's not worth the trouble.
Yeah.
But I like him personally. Like he's cool. I love that kind of energy.
Yep.
I'm sure that's some good pickup ball energy, but not in the NBA.
Definitely not.
And then yeah, Monte was definitely the most exciting name out of this for me because I actually liked him a lot. His career stats, I was looking at it. He had like 5 seasons in a row where he averaged 20 plus or more points. He had a 20, he had a 19, he had a 25 and a half, 24, and a 20 and a half, and no all-star teams to show for it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
And mind you, like he's what, like 6'2"?
Yeah.
At most. So he was like lighting teams up on the Warriors. Obviously Steph was there, but he was hurt here and there. Yeah, if Monte does come back, I do see it with the Warriors or the Mavs because he played for both of them. Maybe even the Bucks take a flyer, who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm not as confident just because the last season he played was 16-17. So that's 4 going on 5 seasons now. Again, we're all in consensus with IT being the best name of those 3. And again, I mean, any playoff team who needs guard depth, they can just turn to him.
Yeah.
Shoot, honestly, the Nets should take him. They don't need defense at all.
That'd be interesting.
It would be. Oh yeah, because he and Kyrie got traded for each other. I don't know if he has any connection at all with like KD or Harden, but
yeah,
I mean that would sell tickets for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially as a backup to when Kyrie goes on his little vacations.
Yeah.
Him and Patty Mills would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say the Mavericks are a team that loves to just put their name out, and they might have not even worked them out. They might have been just like, hey, just put this out. And because they do that a lot. They're like, oh yeah, we almost traded for him. Oh yeah, we almost traded for him.
You're right.
They do this every year. They just did one about Paul Pierce because he was relevant. They did it about Kobe, and they've done it so many times. I'm tired of the Mavericks at this point for that. I will say I do agree about Michael Beasley. Dude's a straight hooper. I don't know if you guys have seen me on Twitter. I sometimes spam gifs of Michael Beasley because I love Michael Beasley. I just think he's hilarious, and I think he's so much fun to watch. But yeah, I think Monte, Isaiah Thomas, they deserve to be, or they could get looks. Lance is going to be a little different. Him and his air guitar might not make it. Maybe he can go join JR on the golf course. We'll see.
In school, though, that'd be crazy.
Hey, that'd be kind of cool to be like your senior and your partner is J.R. Smith for class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But that's gonna do it for our 57th podcast. Appreciate you guys coming back out. It's always a lot of fun to talk basketball. But comment, like, and subscribe. Check our social media down in the link below. But that's gonna do it for us. So catch you guys in the next one. Peace.